There's a male lion, everybody, and you can see that his whole face is covered in blood. And that is because, just up to where he's looking, the Nkuhuma pride is feeding on a buffalo that they have just killed. We'll go and have a look there now. But there they are. I don't know if the littlies are there. I'm thinking probably not. Okay, let's go and move in and have a bit of a closer look. Aubrey managed to find them. They started shouting here. As you know, we were sitting while they were shouting, and I think what might have happened is they probably had a fight over the kill, and then those males started to call. 4 females. Here come the cubs. Here come the cubs. Oh, I don't even know where to look. Let's go to the carcass first, everybody. See, the cubs are staying away from this carcass because they know that there's violence here. Just want to see if we can't get a view of both. Well, there we can see some cubs. Have you got it? Are you okay there, Eggsy? So this buffalo killed sometime during the night. I think these are the 5 bigger cubs, given that there are only 4 females here. And interestingly, the last time they tried to catch a buffalo like this, of course, they failed. They had the 2 males with them this time round, and that would have made a huge difference. With the steam coming out of their mouths. That's Amber Eyes just going around the back there. This is why the cubs don't want to be anywhere near this, because of the fighting that goes on here. See, for those of you who've been watching those little ones growing up, and watching them suckling, you can see how it's just, I mean, it's that fighting over food begins from the very, very start. Now, you see the 2 there on the 2 cubs there? They look like they're thinking about coming here to have a feed.
Yeah, positive.
Look at that. Look at, they're covered in blood. They're covered in mud, in gore and blood. So cute. Very. That is disgusting. They are so disgustingly dirty from all of the buffalo gore and guts that they've got all over their faces. There will be a lot of sleeping as the heat starts to build today. These lions will do an enormous amount of very sound sleeping once their bellies are full. She's calling the cubs. She's calling the cubs to come. Watch this. And reverse very slightly so we can see. Fighting. How's that, Daisy? Is that better?
That's better.
Isn't this fantastic? Wow. So just the three cubs, it looks like. Is that right, Eggs?
Yeah.
I think probably just the three older cubs. The other, well, there are other five, are probably lurking not too far from here. Maybe being looked after by the other lioness. We'll see how they don't want to approach. They're very nervous to approach. They know they'll get into big trouble, and those females will think nothing of swatting. Just trying to make his way there. Grubby little gore-bespattered thing. Look how fat they are. They've eaten well. Well, here come the other cubs. Here come the other cubs, everybody. Mum went to fetch them. Listen to them. They're all here now, all 8 of them, including the fat little teddies. Tax? I just need to talk to Tax quickly, everybody. Here, right, la. Here, right. Sound. See, they're all roaring now. Yeah. I'm just going to sneak forward so that Tax can get a better view. Right. This is just amazing. I don't even know where to look. Michael, you say, at what point will these cubs be allowed to feed? Well, Michael, they have fed. They've actually fed quite a lot. I'm going forward again, just to get this bush out of the way. How's that, Eggs? Better. Michael, they have fed, but they won't be able to touch the carcass before the adults have had a good fill. They'll get thumped if they do that. Look at that big hole out to the buffalo's back there. That's where one of them definitely got on top during the kill and bit away at the buffalo's spinal column. This is just unbelievable, everybody. What a special way to start the week. Eh? Not a bad way to start a Monday, Eggsy. Jenny, you said it looks like your kids would after chocolate pudding. Yeah, I've seen plenty of kids that look exactly like this. I think precisely what you mean. Look at them trying to get in there. But the littler ones are not here yet. Littler ones are a bit nervous to come here. Hello, Brenda and Virginia. You're wondering about who the dominant lioness is here. Brenda, in a lion pride, there's very seldom actual dominant lioness. It's much more common that they have a completely sort of linear hierarchy, if you like. There's no stratification. The only thing that changes that is size. So if a female lion is bigger than the others at a kill site, then she can be more dominant in that she will eat first because she'll bully the others away. Now what's important for you to realise, I think, or for me especially, I have to keep reminding myself, Amber Eyes is so distinctive, and she's got that sort of character where she does kind of look at us and look at the vehicles and look at the camera, and I think that's given us a slightly false impression of her role in this pride. She's not the oldest female, and she's not, I mean, they're all pretty much the same size, so I don't think she's dominant over the others, no. I think we just like her as a character more. And just listen to that, that's the sinew and bone being devoured by these lions. The little cub's putting his head right inside there. If you are a younger viewer, perhaps you're a sensitive viewer, this is going to be a little bit, it might be a little bit gory. Might be a little bit gory, but the buffalo is long dead, as you can see. It's not feeling any pain at this stage. And Michael, you're 18 and you say, how long will this kill last them? Michael, it won't last them very long. I think you'll probably find that they will finish it in about 2 days. And then I think they won't necessarily need to hunt again for the next 3 or 4 days. This is fantastic. Oh. I'm going to suggest, everyone, that we try and move around the other side. I know that that's quite amusing, watching that little thing with its head in the middle of the carcass, but let's just see what it looks like the other side. Look at that, everybody. Those are the littlest cubs, those little fat teddy bears that we've been watching for the last little while, and they're a little bit skittish to come through to this kill. You can see they're watching what's going on here. They're so beautifully lit there. Isn't that stunning? Look at them. And they're so fat and in such good condition because their mum is obviously producing lots and lots of milk, but they're just a little bit too small and nervous to come towards the kill. And the others are fighting over this kill. We've had an aggressive interaction between two of the cubs at the carcass. There they all are. Look right in it now. As the adults have finished and they're starting to lie down and have a snooze, so it is that these bigger ones are now getting their fill. And they had, like I say, quite a vicious interaction where they sort of started, well, I mean, it was a really loud, throaty roar they made at each other. It was so dirty. Filthy little things. And the claws. Look at those little claws. Hello, Gail in Australia. You want to know if we have know all the sexes of these cubs yet? We don't, Gail. You can see quite easily now. We know that the fat teddies who we've just seen, and those fat teddies are 2 males and 1 female. And they're just playing off to the north of us. If you can see them there, they're running around there, having a whale of a time. But the others we're not sure about. I tried to sex them all the other day, Gail, but it was impossible because they kept moving around. So I'd count 1 male and 2 females, and then they'd move around and mix up, and it'd be impossible to tell who I'd counted and who I hadn't. No, we're not going to be here all morning. I don't think. Everybody, look at that thing now quickly on the horn. I think there are going to be a few other people trying to get in here because this is obviously the most spectacular sighting. But that's a cub. That's a cub making that noise, everyone. There's an adult calling. I think that female you can hear making the noise, I think, is calling the little ones towards us. Shamsan, you say, has Eggsy ever filmed anything like this before? And if not, he must be loving his new job. Eggsy, have you ever filmed anything like this before on a Monday morning?
Never.
This is his first time. Are you loving your job, Eggsy?
More than I
It's
can.
amazing, isn't it? Right, here come the little ones. They're getting a little bit braver. Two of them are, anyway. Oh no, these are the three little ones. There are four here. One of the older ones is hung back here. Look. Oh, what a pleasure this camera is, huh? So I think there's through the three 6-week-olds and the one 10-week-old is in there. Betty, you want to know about hairballs and whether lions get hairballs. Yes, they do. And you cough them up. And it's quite amusing to watch a lion with a hairball. Leopards, I think, seem to get them a bit more. Because leopards use their tongues probably slightly more to clean away the hair from carcasses than do lions. There's a very brave little thing coming towards us now. Hello. So stocky these little ones are. I don't know why I think that they're so much. They are definitely fatter than the others, but that's probably because they haven't been moving with the pride yet. So whenever they've wanted to eat, they've just turned to Mum, and she's allowed them to eat. He's now stalking another one who's just gone behind. They're slowly coming closer and closer. You might still be able to hear the growling at the carcass. I mean, these cubs will not even kind of touch the amount of meat left that there is on the carcass. And Ali, you say these cubs' roars are bigger than they are. They are absolutely bigger than they are. It's loud, and it's quite angry in many respects, you know. They're not very kind to each other. Alice, I suppose possibly the answer would be yes. You say, could one cub kill another cub? I mean, it's a possibility, but it's very unlikely. In hyenas it happens commonly, but very uncommonly with lions. Especially with them all being relatively similar ages. I mean, in a year's time you won't notice the difference between the sizes. Look at these things now, Eggsy. They're coming right up to us now. There they are. They want to have some meat, but they're just a bit scared to come to the kill. They can smell the carcass. like a little teddy bear. Almost looks like they're using us for some kind of cover. They're quite close to us now. They've come slowly closer, and they're about 10 meters from us now. Oh, it's a very vicious boy. And I don't know if you can hear, but way in the background, the call of the pied crow. Quack, 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 quack. Another little one right in front here, thinking about this. What is it? It's a large false thorn tree. Mangled, very old false thorn tree. There you can hear the crow. So often those pied crows come through here. It's not common to have them here. The little one's now calling Mum. Ooh, getting braver. No, not so much. Where's that fourth one? No, the fourth one is still lying back there. I wonder if that fourth one isn't the one that was injured a little while back at one of those kills in Bass. Perhaps is a little reticent to get too stuck in here in case he gets injured again. Oh, now they've got the meat. They're licking the gore off one of the older one's faces. Eggsy, I'll try and get us slightly forward there. Hello, Greg in Oklahoma. You were wondering about how often the pride will try or need to kill something this size to feed someone so big. Is this fun? To feed a group of lions this large, you chaps aren't eating a huge amount of meat just yet, Greg. So, a kill like this of the buffalo it'll make a huge difference to, what I'm saying is I don't think they're going to kill extra because of these cubs just yet. They're going to have to start doing that fairly soon because all the cubs are now the older ones are now 14 weeks old. They'll wean at 6 months, so they're still on milk for quite a while. So I don't think there's too much extra killing going on, but certainly by the time they get to, say, once they're all over 6 months, they will have to probably kill a buffalo like this twice as often as they are now. And they're killing buffalo, they're eating buffalo amount of meat probably once a week. That will have to double. And then for the next year or so, it's very, very difficult. Oh, this is interesting. One of the females has moved off there to go and call the youngsters. I wonder if she's not worried about a male. Oh, here. That's another cub. He's telling the cub to come back. So, Greg, until they're about sort of 18 months to 2 years, they're going to have to be killed for. Jen, you're wondering how many Birmingham boys are around. There are only 2. Ooh, there's an elephant around too. He's cracking branches right behind us. He won't be happy if he comes across this lot. Elephants do not like lions. But I'm going to try and move again, Eggs, so we've got a view of the cubs and then the kill in the background. Make a little bit of noise as we go through here. In fact, let me wait. These cubs have just popped out into the open right here. Look at that. Look. Isn't that cool? So sweet. Ooh. That you can hear the adults shouting at each other. Oh, it's amazing. And now you see, they don't need to worry too much about meat, these chaps. They're getting lots and lots of milk. I suspect quite strongly their mother is producing a lot more milk than some of the others, especially, for example, those Styx-Pride lionesses. Right, we're going to sit here for a bit longer. Let's head across to Brent, who's got close to the car now. So we're just watching quite carefully the lionesses and how they react, and one of them is watching where the cubs go quite carefully. But they've come to within, at one stage, about 3 feet of the car. They're enjoying the base of this mangled false thorn bush. I'm trying to find that fourth other cub. I just need to ask, and we're probably going to have to move out, everyone. Yours, you can make your way straight here. I'll move out as soon as you get here. Ntafamba. Orbs men Ntafamba. We might have to leave, everyone. I'm not sure what the vehicle story is. Okay, copy, no problem. Yeah, yours, just make your way straight here and I'll pull out. Yours is about 10 minutes away, everybody. Yeah, come down Aubrey's from the cut line and you'll get us on the western side of the road most of the way down towards Huatela access, but if you're coming from the cut line, then Aubrey's road's the best approach. I'm just trying to guide him in here. So I think we will have to move out, but that's okay. We've had an amazing time here, but we've got about 5 minutes left, so let's just really enjoy them for the next 5 minutes in the most perfect light. And let us just pinch ourselves once more, Eggsy, and remind ourselves that this is Monday morning, when most people are sitting in the traffic, mainlining Prozac to try and stave off the depression of the week. And here we are, sitting with lions and their little cubs in the morning light. Kevin, you want to know if I've ever seen a pride with so many healthy cubs? I have. It's not uncommon. Remember, the health of these cubs really does depend on what they're eating, and their eating depends on what the mothers are hunting and how much milk they're producing. But also, when they're only suckling, like the little fat ones, the two males, the two fat teddies, or 3 fat teddies. The 3 fat teddies are, sorry, I've just been spoken to in the radio there. They will stop being quite such fat teddies once everyone starts eating meat. Then they start to look a lot more ropey. Once they start weaning and they have to, deal with, like that one there, and they have to deal with the fact that they're not always able to get enough milk all the time, it becomes quite difficult for them. And so, yes, they look healthy now, but they're a little bit older, most of them than the Styx-Pride cubs, for example, or than those little Styx-Pride cubs. And I think that's one of the reasons that they look so good. But I think the 3 youngest are unusually healthy. I think they're unusually fat, and I think their mum is obviously very full of milk for them. Obviously that means, it depends a lot on what they're eating. Aubrey's left, so we're not going to have to go just yet, everyone. Anna in Connecticut, a good one from you about whether or if all these lions grow to adulthood and to independence age, will we be overrun with lions? No, we won't be overrun with lions. Remember, the Nkuhuma pride at one stage was, I think, up to 20 lions at one stage. That's not that unusual. Prides that size don't last, though, and they tend to be knocked off. And, you know, the numbers of lions fluctuate so greatly. So, yeah, we've had a pretty lean lion time, I think, of the last little while. This might increase that. Just remember, though, that the males, 1 in 10 chance of reaching adulthood. Females probably about a 3 or 4 in 10 chance. And although if the females, so let's pretend of these 8 cubs, 4 of them are females and 4 of them are males, which is sort of a fairly sound guess. 4 extra females in this pride is probably going to result in quite a lot more meat being consumed, but not enough to actually dent the buffalo or impala or any other sort of herbivore population numbers in this area. The males will move off. This one's just under the tree there, staring at us. And it disappeared all behind this huge false thorn tree. It's exactly like a sort of fairy book fort tree that kids would like to play around, especially before the elephants had broken most of it away. And so lion cubs, just like humans, like to play around trees where they can pretend to be in a fort. Let's reverse it a little bit. Andrew, you want to know if a lion cub is able to kill a very small animal to eat? I wouldn't say, I'd say maybe these oldest ones could kill something like a squirrel. I don't think they'd be able to, you know. I don't think they have the coordination just yet. And I'm not sure that they have the strength either. But I think that I think you'll find that once they're about 6 months old or so, they could start killing things like squirrels and maybe the odd mongoose. But by a year, they can easily start killing other things. But they're not skilled hunters until they're about 2 years old. Paul, you say this buffalo's horns indicate that he wasn't a particularly large fellow, and that he was, because it indicates that he was old, but you say he doesn't look very large. I think he's pretty big. He is old, you're right. From the horns we can see he was old because that keratin layer on top and to the sides has been sort of rubbed and polished smooth by years of use and a little bit of fighting. But I think that his body size doesn't look as big as it might for 2 reasons. One, they've eaten quite a lot of it, so that will inevitably make it look a bit smaller. And 2, he is probably a little bit skinny as a result of the drought. And it's incredible how an animal does immediately seem smaller, almost as soon as the life force is sort of snuffed out of it. And so I think he's a pretty good sized adult buffalo bull. Poor fellow. Didn't have a good night last night, did he, Eggsy? Sandy, a very nice question all the way from Missouri, and I love these questions that sort of compare human beings with animals. You say, human beings have got taller and taller over the last few hundred years. Is the same happening with lions? Human beings have got taller. Well, most of us. Some of us haven't. But that's not some sort of evolutionary function. It's a function of environment. It's a function of the fact that we eat much better, got much better medical care, and especially infant nutrition is extremely improved as from what it was, say, 200 or 300 years ago. So I think, Sandy, that lions will remain exactly the same size as they have for millennia, but human beings are getting bigger because we eat better, and more of us eat better. It's interesting. I think you'd probably find that that's got a lot to do with child nutrition. I think you find stories of Napoleon Bonaparte. You know, he's apparently only 5'6", 5 foot somewhere around that. And you know, they say, well, you know, he was a short man. He wasn't for his time. He was a pretty average-sized man for his time. And I think they say, I'm not sure. I think Hitler was quite small too. He definitely had short man syndrome. But you find these stories of old generals and that sort of thing, and we compare them with the heights of the big sort of generals and CEOs of this age, and we think, well, they were small. They weren't small. They were exactly the same size comparatively. And so you'll find, I think, that human beings are getting taller, like I say, because especially early childhood development. Look at all these little cubs coming up towards us. They're now basically climbing under the car. We're being surrounded. We just need to watch the lionesses now. Make sure that they don't get offended by us. Look at them walking past us here. Look, this tiny little thing. So sweet. Mike, make your way straight here. I'll move out for you. This is just unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. Does you reckon that they learn that their skills to survive come slower than leopard cubs? Yeah, you're right, they do. You're absolutely correct. You know, they're a useless member of the hunt until they're about 2 years old. But, Liz, I think what you'll find is that although, you know, I've said to you that leopardess specifically can become independent at, say, 8 months if she has to, and the males are probably at about 18 months. The big thing about how the difference in the lions, obviously, is that they live socially. And to learn to hunt in a group, I think, takes a lot longer than learning to hunt on your own. And definitely by a year, these chaps will be able to kill on their own very successfully, the smaller stuff. But I would agree it does take a little bit longer than it does for the leopards, for them to become totally independent. But I think that is largely a function of their sociality. Look at these ridiculous things here on the logs behind us. I mean, it's just too special for words. They're exploring all over the place. They're not vaguely afraid of us anymore. And every so often they wander a bit and the lioness lifts her head and she starts calling them again. It's quite interesting also that there's an older one always with them. I don't think he's there as in any kind of mentorship role, but I think that he's there because he prefers the company of the smaller ones. He doesn't get beaten up by them. Listen to that crunching sound. Alright everybody, we're going to go across to Brent. I'm going to try and stay here a little bit longer, But if we have to leave, then we're going to. We've got a multi-species pile-up to show you. We've just watched the most amazing little interaction between that cub and Amber Eyes. And Amber Eyes is just off. That's her there, you can see. And she very friendlily greeted one of them, but one of them then tried to suckle from her, and of course she's not lactating at all. So you got a nasty little snap from her, and then the two of them decided to come this way and leave Auntie Amber to her little siesta. Such a lovely sighting, this. It's so special to be able to spend A, this amount of time, and B, just to watch all the interactions of different ages of animals. There's so much going on here, you don't remember where to look. And you can still hear that crunching of sinew, as the back molars, the carnassial teeth, shear away the meat from this incredibly thick buffalo hide. Hello Rachel, a good question, especially as A, your new viewer, and B, because there's been a few of those videos doing the rounds on social media with Cheetah, especially jumping into or onto cars. Have I ever had a cub or an adult jump into or onto the car? I had a leopard do it once, and he was trying to get away from some wild dogs. That was a terrifying incident, but otherwise no. Rachel, you find those videos, and I'm assuming you're kind of referring to them, of the cheetah especially. They do it in East Africa because there are so many vehicles. The vehicles really, I mean, if you think these animals are habituated to vehicles, that's a new level. You know, it's not unusual to find a cheetah sighting with probably sort of 20 vehicles around it. And the way they hunt there is to get up onto a vantage point, and the only way to find a vantage point is on a termite mound, and if your car happens to be a good vantage point, then that's what the cheetahs are often going to do. You don't see it with lions and leopards, though. Only see it with cheetah, which tend not to be particularly, or they habituate much more easily than other cats to our presence on foot, certainly, and to our smell. Look, you see that happening again there. Now, they don't know the difference, of course, the little things. And she's now so full she can hardly move. So Rachel, my answer would be, I think it's highly unlikely to happen here unless there was some kind of aggressive interaction. So all these little cubs, as the adults have become tireder with eating and feeding, they've come closer and closer and closer. And you can see they're reticent about it. They're just a little bit nervous still, because obviously there is a huge amount of movement and anger and swatting and growling and beating. Okay, everybody, we're going to have to leave now. Mike, just stand by there, please. I'll come out now. We're going to move out now, everyone. Mike is moving into the sighting. It's been an incredible morning, and we might well come back here a little bit later and see what else is happening. Okay. Sorry, Mike, I can see him moving right in, so we're going to have to move out immediately.